with another interesting pick, and this time it's into Masters Premier Cup. Recently we had Larvitar Classic Community Day and I got more than enough candies to power up this beast. It has many weaknesses like steel types, fairies, and water types, etc., but we will play around those. So let's get into the battles. Into the first match we got a very nice lead Tyranitar into Dragonite. We are hitting them with super effective smackdowns and they can hit us with that super power, but they will not get to another move. They do outpace us to the first move and a super power will do a lot of damage, so I shielded. They came in with Metagross. We need to get our shield back, so we throw Crunch. It would have been very nice if we would have Bite as fast move against it. Now I tried to catch a move, but opponent hold onto their energy, which put us in really tough spots, so I didn't shield. Earthquake dealt very big damage, but we got to last second Meteor Mash. This was so obvious that opponent didn't bother to shield. I was confident on Dragonite that we can go for one shield farm down. The opponent does throw their energy to take our last shield. We go for the farm down and we got it. Last Pokemon was Excadrill and they tried to catch a Dragon Claw onto it. We are at almost back-to-back moves, so we will stat throwing those super powers. I should have baited as a shield was obvious. We were so close to Crunch, so I combo played with Tyranitar. Crunch landed and puts them into farm down range for Dragonite. We need 2 moves, so I didn't throw energy, instead took 1 Rock Slide and got for full farm down. Rock Slide did put us very low, but they need to go for another move to take us out. We got the farm down and thrown the claw onto their Dragonite to close the game. Into the next match we got another interesting lead, Tyranitar into Shadow Snorlax. Licks are resisted, so there is no fast move pressure, but a super power will do a lot, so I tried to catch on Dragonite but again failed. Snorlax has a lot of energy now, so it started chipping out Dragonite with those neutral body slams. 2 body slams put Dragonite in almost into the red. Next body slam will be Eat Howl, so I throw the super power to CMP tie on the next body slam. We got our shield, and at this point Dragonite has put Snorlax very low, so I let it go. Opponent took down Dragonite with next body slam. I came in with Metagross to get energy lead. They do get to another move, and this time it will be super powered, so I shielded it and farmed it completely down. But my problems are not over yet. Opponent then came in with a Mudshot Garchomp. We do have energy lead, so I throw my Meteor Mash just before I throw Earth Power. Mash got shielded, so I throw another on CMP tie. Obviously we lose CMP, which forced me to shield. Mash landed and did some significant damage onto the Garchomp. We were very close to a Crunch onto Tyranitar, so we swapped and got to the Crunch. Opponent didn't swap and let Garchomp go, as the last Pokemon was Metagross. They were going for full farm down, which allows us to get to another Crunch. It does some significant damage to it. They are at back-to-back moves and we don't have energy onto Metagross. They took Tyranitar out with first Mash and then Earthquaked out Metagross. Garchomp and Metagross on same team were tough to handle for us. Next match we got paired up against another Dragonite, but this time it was Shadow. The opponent immediately swapped into a Shadow Dragon Breath Gyarados. Looks like opponent got core broken by Tyranitar. They do got to a move, but we can just go for one shield farm down. We shield the Aqua Tail and committed to full farm down. We have a lot of energy on Tyranitar now. Opponent then sends back in Dragonite, so I throw our first Crunch to take that shield. Opponent does shielded the Crunch. They are at a move, and at this point I thought of letting it go. We hangs on but could get the move off. So now I came in with our Dragonite. Opponent swapped into Metagross, but we are at out Super Power. Super Power does got the last shield. So I came in with Metagross and they surrendered. In this match we got nice lead, Avalugg into Tyranitar. Smackdown started chunking Avalugg. They got to a move and thrown right away. We shielded and it was just a avalanche. Then they swapped into Waterfall Gyarados. We will get the shield back with a Crunch bait. Opponent does shielded it, so we came in with Dragonite. This is a very comfortable matchup for Dragonite, as Crunch is only neutral damage and other moves we resisted. They go for the Crunch, but they didn't got the defense drop. So I go for Farm Down and they got to last second Aqua Tail. We tank it no problem. They came back in with Avalugg and it's time for Super Power. Super Power does landed and took Avalugg out. But yet again last Pokemon was Garchomp that too with Mud Shots. We got to the Dragon Claw and took the last shield. As we were reaching the next they throw and we caught onto Tyranitar. Then we got to the Dragon Claw in time. Dragon Claw does some super effective damage but could not knock it out. So we took it out with few Dragon Breaths. Into the next match we made with another terrible lead, Tyranitar into Metagross. We stayed in for a while and tried to catch Meteor Mash on our own Metagross, which worked out just fine. They reached to Meteor Mash and we went straight for it. I no shielded it as it's resisted. It does puts us into the red. We were getting too low, so I decided to throw a mash of our own. And that turns out to be a mistake as they let it go and it was not a knock for knockout. But they hangs on, so I throw another Meteor Mash and the opponent decided to shield this time and farmed us down. As they have a lot of energy, I decided to came in with Dragonite. But they immediately swapped into Machop. I go for a Dragon Claw just before they got to their Rock Slide. They go for no shield as it was not lethal. Then they threw the Rock Slide. I respected it with our first shield and farmed it down completely. Opponent has Dragonite of their own and back. But we have massive leads, so we got to the Claw first. Dragon Claw got the last shield. And at this point Dragonite has done its job. Now it's all up to Tyranitar. I came back in with Tyranitar and got to the Stone Edge. Stone Edge will be easily one-shotting Dragonite from this range. And we farmed them down with the Smackdown. Into the next game, we mate with a very nice lead, Tyranitar into Gyarados. We will be doing super effective damage with Smackdown, but they do have that Aqua Tail to hit us back. They do outpace us for the first move and went straight for it. I respected it with a shield. And now they swapped into the Ursaluna. So I throw one Crunch for some chip damage. Which turns out to be a mistake as we would have swapped into Dragonite immediately and still kept the switch. They have Thunder Punch to throw at us, but that's not that much damaging move. So we let two of Thunder Punch go and tried to gather as much energy as we can. We farmed down it completely. But it turns out to be a very disastrous thing as they came in with Gholdengo. Our Metagross doesn't want to see it. So we did as much damage as we can. We throw two Dragon Claws. They got the farm down. I decided to came in with Tyranitar. They didn't even build up to Focus Blast and went straight for Shadow Ball. But as Metagross doesn't want to see it, I shielded it. We throw our first Crunch and tried to get rid of it. Crunch got the first shield, but they're almost his next Shadow Ball, so I switched to catch a move. We caught the Shadow Ball perfectly. But the problem is, Shadow Ball doesn't one-shot Metagross. Opponent swapped into Gyarados, which is even worse as they will be able to farm us down and get to another Aqua Tail. We got to a move on Slither of HP, but they shielded it and farmed us down. They got to the Aqua Tail, and then that's a GG. This match was epic one as we are going to face another terrible lead, Tyranitar into Charm Purpurina. We can't swap as I don't want it to get aligned with Dragonite later on. So I decided to stay in with Tyranitar. Those charms are chunking, so I throw Stone Edge at last movement. They respected it with a shield and farmed us down to keep the switch. Now our plan is to go for one shield farm down, as Hydro Pump will still hurt our Metagross. They came in with Gyarados, so I throw one mash for some chip damage. and then swapped into Dragonite. We do outpace them to first move and force the opponent to shield. Opponent dozes shield as they wanted to get crunch damage off. As opponent did that, I thought something weak to Dragonite in back, so I shielded it. But it turns out to be a Magnezone. We need to land a superpower as double wild charge will put Metagross in farm down range for Gyarados. They throw just before we got to the superpower. But Dragonite hangs on and we got the superpower off. As they were debuffed in defense, it does one-shot them. Metagross can still sustain 1 crunch damage, so we just need to get to 1 Meteor Mash to close the game. They got to the crunch, we took it like a champ and delivered the Meteor Mash to close the game. So guys, that was the last video for today. Hope you had fun watching Tyranitar in Master Premiere. If you have enjoyed, then one like and sub will be much appreciated. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.